This is going to be a very good year.
This is the worst! Bankruptcy!
I am running away from my responsibilities.
What is happening?
I'm gonna stop worrying. Feeling hot. I tried.
Oh, my life!
MacRuba! I understand nothing.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrivetime show starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zillner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Started from the bottom, and now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
See, life has a way of finding out what's real. It doesn't listen to your press clippings or check how many people applauded. Life has its own test, and it comes for everyone. It might show up as a setback, a disappointment, or a challenge that demands more than you've given before. When that moment arrives, all the borrowed confidence in the world won't carry you through. Only preparation passes the test. There's a story I remember about a young man who always seemed sure of himself, spoke well, dressed sharp, shook hands with confidence. But when it came time to deliver, to perform when it mattered, the cracks started to show. Why? Because his confidence was borrowed from someone else's words, not built from his own experience. He'd learned how to look the part, but skipped the hard part, the practice, the mistakes, the discipline. When real pressure showed up, his confidence vanished. Only preparation stands strong in the storm. Arrogance, you see, is just a mask worn by fear. It's loud and restless, always needing an audience, always needing applause. But confidence built on preparation, that's quiet. It doesn't brag or boast. It just stands its ground. You'll find the people who talk the most about their abilities are often the ones with the least evidence to back it up. The ones with true confidence don't need to talk about it. They live it. It's easy to fool the world for a while. You can learn the lingo, practice the posture, maybe even memorize the moves, but you can never fool yourself. You know whether you've earned your place or just shown up, hoping nobody asks the hard questions. That's why false assurance is so dangerous. It keeps you from doing the real work, the work that builds genuine confidence. There's a line you cross when you choose preparation over pretense. It's not always glamorous. There's no audience for the early mornings, the long hours, the quiet practice when nobody is watching. But that's where real confidence is born. And when the test comes, and it always comes, it's those hours, those efforts that stand between you and the storm. So be careful not to fall for the easy road. Be willing to check your own evidence. Ask yourself, am I ready? Have I really put in the time? It's better to know the truth and be humble than to walk in with empty assurance. Life rewards those who prepare, not those who pretend. There's a connection in life you can't ignore. the link between confidence and competence. Every time you practice, every time you repeat a skill, you make a deposit into your confidence account.
Folks, on today's show, we're talking about how to design your day, how to design your life, how to call a quick timeout and make sure that you're going in the right direction with your life. And here to join us today to talk about this subject is a longtime client that I've had the honor of working with. And we've watched this gentleman, this client, grow his company from one location, I believe, to 11 locations today. So just like many of you watching today's show, he had an idea to turn his idea into a reality, to turn his vision into a business, and he did it. And we've had the honor of working with him and watching the growth of this wonderful business, windowninjas.com. If you're watching today's show and you're looking for a business opportunity, a chance to earn time freedom and financial freedom, I strongly recommend you check out windowninjas.com. With that being said, Gabe Salinas, welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
Thanks for having me today, bud.
So I've got to ask you this idea of designing your day. I want to get into the mechanics of it today. I want to get really specific. So today I set my alarm for 3 a.m. I'm not saying that everybody should do that. I'm not saying you should do that. This isn't like a comparison thing. I'm just saying, and last night I went to bed at 9 p.m. So for me, I go to bed at 9. I wake up at 3. That's my normal. Somebody else watching this, I don't know what your schedule is, but Gabe, I want to ask you, what time do you like to start your day?
On average, Clay, I am waking up somewhere between 3 o'clock in the morning and 3:30 in the morning.
And when you get up every day, you're a guy who I know you're very intentional about your faith, your family, your finances, your fitness, your friendship, your fun. Not that you're perfect, but you're very intentional. You have a lot of demands, 11 locations, a lot of great employees, a lot of great customers. How do you organize your day for anybody out there? Because again, every client I've ever worked with, who's been successful, they all design their day. How do you go about organizing your day?
It's pretty simple. I figured out what I like to do, and I figured out what I want to do. And then I figured out what I need. I take all of those things out of those 3 buckets, and then I put them into my calendar. Every single day in the morning, I have what's called Gabe's morning routine. It's, you do your normal, hey, I got to use the restroom, I got to wash my teeth, but it's also I sit down at my desk and I'm able to emails done. I get a lot of work done. I get a lot of things done before the world really gets going, and I start getting bothered by phone calls and things of that nature. But I also go do things like I'll take the dog for a walk. I go exercise. I'll do things that I want to do during some of that time in the morning as well, before I get back to phase 2, which is, coming into the office or working from my office at home or whatever the case may be. But Clay, that if the things that I want to do, then it's not. And so that's why I dictate time to want to do as well as things that I, and every day it's the same. I live my life every single day. So that way I done, and the things that I wanted to do personally.
And so, again, this is a process that you adhere to day after day, week after week. You organize your day on the days that you're not excited about it, on the days you are excited about it, on a holiday, on a non-holiday, on a busy week or a non-busy week. You organize your day. You do it every single day. And if you didn't organize your day, let's just say for a second that you did not organize your day every day, what would happen quickly if you did not block out that time to organize your day every day?
Man, I'd probably wander around like a nomad in the desert. I mean, I couldn't imagine what life would look like that. I mean, I just every single day I know exactly what I need to do, and I know exactly what I want to do, and I just get them all done. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't imagine living my life any other way, Clay. I just
If
couldn't
you're
imagine
watching
it.
today's show, folks, action step number 1, I encourage everyone to do it. Every day, block out time every day to organize your day. If you're watching today's show, I want you to block out time every single day to organize your day. Do it every day, every day. Again, Gabe told you what he does. I'm telling you what I do. This is what I do, folks. I go to bed at 9, wake up at 3. Every morning at 3, I wake up, alarm goes off. Am I excited about it? A lot of times I'll go, man, that's a little bit early. But when I wake up, I immediately organize my day. And so I make a plan. So today, these are things I'm working on today. And I'm not saying this to name drop. I'm not saying this to impress. I'm just saying because it's real. Today,
exciting as it is or not as exciting as it is, I'm going to complete my wife's Christmas shopping. So I'm completing the Christmas shopping for my incredible wife. 2, I'm definitely planning our Christmas schedule with the family. We got 5 kids. I'm completing that schedule today. That's happening. 3, I'm confirming Tim Tebow for our April business conference. I'm confirming Tim Tebow. 4, I'm interviewing General Flynn today on our show, the Thrivetime show. 5, this might be exciting or not exciting. I am going to meet with one of my clients about it greatly expanding what we do for his business. I've had a longtime client. He's growing his business dramatically, and we want to set up a time to meet about growing his business, take it to that next level. So those are things that are on my list today that are going to get done. So when do they get done? I block out time every day. So does Gabe to design my day. Second thing, pro tip to become a very productive person, I do not allow nefarious people to take my time. So as shocking as it is today, Gabe, I had a longtime employee, and I'm sure you've never seen this situation, but I have a longtime employee, an employee who'd worked here years and years, who decided to leave in a non-ceremonious way. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to hire my employees away from me with my different companies. And they're, reaching out to my employees via email and text and all these things. And I know this because my employees are telling me, hey, yeah, the guy that left our company in a very non-positive way? He's reaching out to us to try to hire us. And so one by one, employees are telling me, but I'm not going to let that take my joy. I'm not going to let it take my time. I'm not going to let it take my energy. Gabe, let's talk about that for a second. So 1, we get up every day. We organize our day. 2, we can't let negative people take our energy, take our day, take our time. What's your thought on dealing with negative people?
Well, it's definitely not fun dealing with negative people. So I try to alleviate them from my life at all. Any way possible, I try to do that. Sometimes people just have a bad day, I guess, and so they can be a little more grumpier or maybe just not as happy and exuberant. But yeah, for the most part, Clay, you know what? I think I've gotten to the point where I have a good leadership team, and so my leaders are able to hold off the negativity from those not so great employees, so that they don't get in my space. So I have learned how to create boundaries for myself, so that I don't have to be around so many of those negative people like you're speaking of, because every business has them. Somebody's going to get upset, they're going to get their feelings hurt or something, they're going to feel like they've been just threatened by somebody's inaction or action. And so, they just want to take it out on everybody they can, and they're going to try to get back at the owner or whatever the case may be. So, but I've just figured out a way that I'm like, man, I'm not going to allow that to happen. I'm not going to allow certain people to get into my space. And I've gotten very good at being able to guard and protect myself from people like that just through having good leaders. And my leaders are doing a great job of keeping those boundaries and those spaces between me and a bunch of the other employees that just really I don't need to have interaction with on a day-to-day basis. I'm not saying that I do interact with all my employees, but we just have set some boundaries so that I'm not the one that's going to hire them or fire them. Their leader is going to do that. And when there is time for them to be reprimanded, those two can get together and talk about it, but I'm not.
Okay, so let's talk about it again. Move number 1, you want to design your day. Everybody out there watching today's show, block out time to design your day. When are you going to do it? What time are you going to bed? What time are you waking up? You got to do it. 2, use a priority-based to-do list. What now? Use a to-do list. Folks, make that to-do list. Get that to-do list going. Put on your to-do list what you need to get done. 3, remove these negative influences from your life. If you've got a negative influence from your life, just don't have them in your life. 4, use a calendar. Gabe, you got to use a calendar because what gets scheduled gets done. And you know this, and I know this. Again, windowninjas.com is growing. It's intentionally growing. You continue to grow. Each location, by the way, is growing. So not only is the brand growing with more locations, but each location is growing. Gabe, you got to block out time because what gets scheduled gets done. If you and I did not block out time for these interviews, it wouldn't happen. You're super busy. I'm super busy. We're both super busy. Talk about the importance of using a calendar to schedule the priorities that really do matter to us.
Man, you just hit it on the head, Clay. I mean, you're right. I mean, what gets scheduled gets done. And when I started working with you guys with your coaching platform, I mean, I was pretty good about my calendar, but my calendar was up here and it really wasn't in on a piece of paper. And so you guys taught me that, hey, listen, schedule your day, print it out, mark off things that you get done. That way you don't forget. And it has become extremely helpful and it has become a part of my life. Every single day, I check my calendar multiple times a day. I'm checking my calendar. I have my calendar printed out. I even have an assistant. She's like, hey, don't forget, there's another meeting in 15 minutes. Okay, great. Yes, I got it. Appreciate that. All these little action items that need to be done during the day, everything that I want to do, whether it's walking the dog, going to work out, going to go have dinner with my wife, whatever the case may be, I schedule all of those things so that way there's designated time dictated to those specific tasks that need to be done or I want to do. And then I have all these other things in there that come up. Maybe it's like a meeting with you, or I've got another meeting with a potential franchise, coaching calls here and there, with our franchise guys and stuff like that. So if I didn't have a calendar, I didn't adhere to a calendar, then there's a lot of those things that would just kind of not get done. And there'd be way too many. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I apologize. I missed that meeting. Or I'm sorry about this. But man, I just don't have that. And it's because the calendar is so important.
Final note here. You got to stop watching toxic mentorship. Let me give you an example. There are influencers online out there right now that there's entire video courses devoted to, how to manipulate women, how to take advantage of your partner, how to force your boss to give you a raise. I mean, there's all these kinds of nefarious influencers out there. There's a lot of them. And you can go on YouTube and you can go online. And I can tell you, I see it when people are under the spell or under the influence of that kind of stuff. And Gabe, I'm sure you've seen it too. You have a very nice person in your office or my office, and now they start watching videos about how to manipulate their boss, how to take advantage of people. And there's books written about these things. And it impacts the way they think. People that are constantly watching negative videos, listening to negative music, it begins to impact you. If you put too much negativity into your mind, you just can't have success on a sustainable basis. Can you talk about just removing negative media from your life, negative media influences and those kind of things that can really rot your brain?
Man, you're right, Clay. There's a lot of information out there that will definitely rot somebody's brain really, really fast. And it does seem like there's a lot more negative information out there, negative social media posts, negative news. I mean, there's just so much negativity in our world. It seems like that's the easy place to go. And so if you can understand that being negative is easy, then you should also understand that being positive is hard. And, God always rewards us. Life rewards us. When you do hard things, great outcomes happen. So if you can take the hard path of, hey, I'm gonna have a great attitude, I'm gonna be fun, I'm gonna be uplifting, I'm not gonna pay attention to this negative stuff over here, and anything negative that I see, I'm just gonna go ahead and move it from my space. Man, you're just gonna live a better life. You're gonna be happier, you're gonna have better people around you, and you're probably not gonna get super angry when a negative person comes up and says something negative or does something that's just not really cool because it's on the negative side. And you can just smile and say, you know what? We don't appreciate that. We don't do that over here. You're going to knock that off or you're going to be out of the system. And it makes it super simple for you and it makes it very clear for the other person on the other side.
If somebody decides to buy a Window Ninjas franchise, if somebody decides to team up and buy a windowninjas.com franchise, one, they're getting your proven systems, but two, they're getting access to you, your coaching, your mentorship, your team, your culture. Gabe, what does it cost to buy a windowninjas.com franchise? And maybe who would be a good fit to head on over to windowninjas.com to schedule a free consultation? So, one is how much does it cost? And two, who would be a good fit for a windowninjas.com franchise?
Well, there's a lot of great people out there in the world that are looking for an opportunity to own a business. And if they've got a great attitude, if they've got a passion to learn, if they've got a passion to serve, and they truly desire to have a better life, that is the ideal candidate for a windowninjas.com franchise. And how much does it cost? Man, you've got a $59,500 franchise fee, plus you've got your truck and your equipment and things and like that needs to get going. Man, you're going to spend around $175K to join our system, learn how to make millions, and have a dedicated staff that is behind you 100% of the way. Our call center staff is awesome. They answer all of our customers' calls, they book jobs, they schedule appointments, they do follow-ups, they do prospecting, they do so much for the business owners within Window Ninjas. It is absolutely amazing, and it allows our franchisees to scale up so fast in their market. And they really have a support system. And most businesses, man, they really, like, I think you can attest to this, Clay, but most businesses do need some sort of support system. And most of the time, if it's a mom and pop shop, it's either the husband and the wife that are doing it, or maybe they're bringing their kids in, this, that, and the other. But man, what's cool about us is we've already got it built into the system, man. It makes it super easy and super special for those franchisees.
Folks, again, windowninjas.com. They have a great call center, a customer scheduling center. If you buy a franchise, that's included. They have a scheduling center that helps you answer your calls. It actually does answer your calls and schedule your appointments for you. They have a turnkey marketing system. They have a great service delivery system, a great mentorship program for new franchisees. There are so many benefits to buying a windowninjas.com franchise. I encourage you to check it out. Gabe Salinas, thank you so much, sir, and we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great, Clay.
Bye-bye.
See you, bud.
So I'm trying to teach these women, and the women kept it up. So I said to them, it's like, you know what, it. I'm taking over. So what I did is I unplugged their keyboards and plugged a new one in from me behind the screen. So the chicks would sit there and hit a keyboard that wasn't plugged in. And me and my brother, and eventually some staff I trained, would do all the talking. The girls were just famoosers, just laughing and doing this, their titties out. And they were talking to ice cold hustlers. We were taking their money, all of it. If they come and say, well, what kind of, all of it. We were milking them dry. Women haven't got a clue how to famoose a dude. They don't have, because they rely on their looks. They don't have any of the intellect. They have no game, nothing.
There's some, though. There's
nothing.
There's some.
Nah, you get a man with game and give him a female's body, a female avatar. He will a guy up. I had these guys selling their houses, life savings, loans, all of it to me. Give me it all. So like, and it's basic shit, right? You'd have a guy.
You feel bad or no?
No, to give a solitary.
Could you tell, like,
I don't give a fuck. So yeah, on corporatetape.com I have my PhD program, and that is PhD is a pimp and hose degree that I'm.
Clever.
And
Clever.
That teaches basically how I got girls, how I met girls, how I got girls to like me, how I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me. Because that's what I did. That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me. And that's how I got rich. So that teaches everything I know from start to finish about not only getting girls, not only obtaining them, but retaining them. Because that's a completely different game as well. Mm-hmm. So I teach everything I know in there. So for me, fighting was just an outlet. Because if I didn't put it into fighting, I would end up in jail. But the majority of my money was actually made in the pimp game. I say that, people think I'm making it up. It's true. This is why I think I have a bit of a following on Twitter, because I have a unique resume. Like, there's a whole bunch of guys on, but not many, like world champion kickboxer, pimp, mafia associated criminal. Like, I've got all this stuff, and it was like, who is this dude? Like, surely it can't all be true. And well, it's all true. I had a fight coming up. The fight was too far away from money, and I needed money today. So I was sitting there thinking, how can I make money? What do I have that's worth money? Like, what do I have that I can even sell? And I was sitting there, and the only thing I had was all these girlfriends. I was sitting there writing down my assets. Like, what do I own? What do I possess? So I've got these 7 hot chicks. Plus, I'm a master of the game. Long story short, I decided to start with webcam, and I flew all the girls into England. I needed money, man. I need to get paid. I didn't have time to be messing around. That's how I made it to the top. That's basically my story. I mean, I was a fighter, and I ended up, because I had game, I just ended up in the pimp game, and I built this webcam business. And I'm training these girls, and it got to the point where it was easier if I just typed myself. So what we ended up doing was, we had the 2 girls on camera with a keyboard, which wasn't plugged in, doing this. And then I was behind the screen talking to the dudes, saying the right things, and start dragging money out the internet. And for me, I mean, this is a long time ago, right? This is about, how old am I now? I'm 34, so I was about 28. So about 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago, right? And making money online nowadays is far more popular than it was even 8 years ago. Who do you know 8 years ago who made money from YouTube or from online?
Yeah,
nobody.
It's just booming. It's just starting.
It's just starting. So when I started dragging money from the internet, it was like mind blowing to me. And I'm sitting there typing, and I'd type 16, 17 hours a day, but I'd pull in, let's say, $3,000 a day, $4,000 a day. So that became my new life, right? I went from kickboxer to fucking pretend girl on the internet for about 3 months. I'm just typing until the girls learn. And once the girls learn, they could do it themselves. Then I thought, I don't know, I need some more chicks.
And that was kind of the beginning of the cam empire.
I'm taking over. So what I did is I unplugged their keyboards and plugged a new one in from me behind the screen. Chicks would sit there and hit a keyboard that wasn't plugged in. And me and my brother would do all the talking. The girls were just pure, just famoosers, just laughing and doing this. And they were talking to fucking ice cold hustlers. We were taking their money, all of it.
Any girl who's around me long enough sees Tristan bring 4 or 5 girls a day inside the house. She goes, how do I know I'm not one of them girls? I'm like, baby, I'm the good brother. And then Tristan will go, yeah, he's the good brother, and roll his eyes. She'll kind of be like, are they joking? Are they not? And it eases her into the idea. If she's around it for a few weeks and she sees Tristan doing all this and Tristan's making jokes, what they end up doing is laughing and joining in the jokes. They end up saying, Tristan, that last one, she really likes you. Which one's coming next? And like being his friend about it all. So when she's his friend about all the pimping, it's harder for her to get mad at me when she catches me doing the pimping.
How much would you give them? Can you give us an idea of like how much money you were pulling on? Because I've seen you tweet shit about guys sending your girls like $1,000, $5,000 in cash just as a one-off. And I know how desperate guys are. Like what kind of turnover were you talking? And what kind of percentage would you give the girls?
Okay, so my best girl would do about $40,000 a month.
Oh my God!
And
Sean, we're in the wrong gender.
Maybe.
And how much?
Is it 14 or 40?
40.
Oh, 40. Christ.
Jesus.
And I give her $1,000 a week. I give her
$1,000. Okay, so that's generous. I mean, that's
she gets $1,000 a week. She gets free rent. She ain't got to worry about nothing. If I travel or we travel, I pay for everything, whatever. But $36,000 a month, I'm keeping.
Wow. And that was your best girl. What was your worst?
Well, bro, I had some. The first big money I ever made in my life, I first became a multimillionaire by running a webcam studio. So I had beautiful women sitting on computers talking to guys on webcams from all around the world. That's how I first made my money. And at one point, I had 75 women in 4 locations working for me, which was stressful and the wrong way to do it. I ended up removing my army and going to special forces of around 15 people, 15 girls. And me and my brother made a lot of money doing that. But the PhD course, the Pimping Host degree, was teaching people how I managed females in those scenarios, how I controlled their emotions, how I convinced them to work and give me most of their money, how I convinced them to share me with other women, why they obeyed me. So it was never so much about out there picking up girls. It was actually something else. It was more about the psychology of things. And I'm saying, look, I'm a theorist, here's the theory. That's fine. And he's managed to be quite successful just doing that. If he were to start lying and saying, I'm fucking all these 16-year-old women or 18-year-old women, whatever the law is in America. 18?
It's 18 usually. You get married at 16.
All right, in Romania it's 16, sorry. Yeah. So if I'm fucking all these 18-year-old women, blah, blah, blah. Well, then he's added a bunch of lies on top of the character. I don't understand why. I think if you truly have something to say and you truly understand the game, you don't need to tell a bunch of lies. Once you start saying you're a playboy and you're slaying pussy, well, now you have a huge issue. And the issue is, where's your proof?
Receipts.
I'm the only guy on Twitter who's putting up pictures of him with hot girls. Yeah. But if you're not gonna kick her out for certain things, then she's gonna continue to do certain things. I get these messages all the time from guys. Hey, I got this girlfriend, I really like her, but she has these male friends. Make her choose. You are the friends. She's gonna fuck one of them eventually. Otherwise, like, what are you delaying this for? If you are arguing about male friends and she continues to want these male friends, she obviously is gonna get drunk one night and suck some dick. We know that. You know that. Everyone knows that. So tell her, choose me or the male friends. If she chooses the male friends and walks out on you, you've saved yourself a whole ton of time. Yep. What am I talking about? I don't want to come across as a sexist. I'm a realist, and reality is sexist.
There's no sexist pigs here.
Not at all. I'm a realist, and reality is sexist, right? So sometimes if I'm with a chick or whatever, and we're in a situation, she gives me her opinion, and I'm like, look, without disrespect, you're a 19-year-old female. What do you know about the world? You don't know anything about anything. Just leave it to me. You don't know anything. I don't expect you to know anything. So I don't know why you're trying to give me your opinion, because I don't put any responsibility on you to perform in basically any way outside of the bedroom. So just shush. Don't worry about it. Leave it to me, right? So, yeah, the reality is sexist. I guess I'm a little bit of a sexist, but that's how it goes. You cannot get a girl to work for you haven't fucked. So the recruitment process is the same as the PhD course. You message them on Instagram. The PhD course is my recruitment system. I don't mention webcam until after I've had sex with the girl. If you're on dates and you're trying to mention it and shit, it just doesn't work. It puts them off. I'd never do that. That's disgusting. I'm not a whore. It's just not gonna work.
You continue as normal, no mention of webcam. You fuck the girl. After you fuck the girl, you do the PhD test. If she passes the PhD test and she wants to be with you, then you start mentioning things like, yeah, but you know, you're always busy, you're always at work, you can come work for me. So, as I said, you cannot try and approach girls to do webcam. Hi, do you want to do webcam? It's bullshit. It doesn't work. No one's going to say yes. And any girl who does say yes is doing it, she doesn't like you, she doesn't know you, she doesn't love you. She's saying yes purely for money. I'm going to sneeze. Any girl who wants money that bad is going to skank you and leave you when she realizes you get a big cut of it. So even if you do get a girl to say yes that way, even if you do say to a girl, look, let's make some money, she's only in it for the money. She's not in it to please you. And if she's only in it for the money, she's going to get pissed off with her cut. Because they're going to Google up how much a token's worth, how many tokens they made, and all that shit. They're going to get pissed off with their cut. Remember the tax thing, so you only have to pay them 30% instead of 50%. It's important for your profitability. So you don't want a girl who's in it for money. You want a girl who's in it to be with you. So you meet a girl, you take her on dates, you fuck her, whatever. She passes the PhD test. Then you start saying things like, oh yeah, but you're always working. I have to do some traveling and you can't come. I want to bring you with me. Traveling's a great one because the thing about this business is mobile. If you can find a good Airbnb with good internet, you can run it somewhere else. So it's a good little caveat to throw in. Oh, and you're always working. Why don't you work for me so we spend more time together? Work for you doing what? So I'll have a webcam business. Oh, I don't want to do that. So, okay, I know you don't want to do that, but listen. Come, let's have a meeting. Let's just talk about it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Fine. But let me explain it to you properly. In fact, I'll bring one of the girls who works for me. You, your bottom bitch, the new girl, you go out for fucking a nice dinner. Your bottom bitch is the one who does the selling. You don't do the selling. The girl has to hear it from a girl. And this is where your bottom bitch has to be trained. This is why I said it's so important to have a good first girl. My first girl was so good, it was easy. My girl would sit there and go, oh my God, before this I was a waitress and it was shit, and now I do this and I make so much money, and the guys all love me and they adore me, and on my birthday they send me presents, and I get so much money, blah, 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 and it's so much fun, and we stay at home, and da-da-da-da, and we're gonna go to Thailand soon, we're gonna be working in Thailand, and we're gonna stay there for as long as we want, you should come with us, it's gonna be so much fun, da-da-da-da, martinis, 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 bang, threesome. Slam them both, your bottom bitch knows, this girl's like, okay, well I'll try it. Put both girls on camera together the first day, so the new girl can sit there and just sit with the other girl and get drunk. Give them a bottle of vodka, put on the fucking chatterbait, 100 tokens per shot. The guys will send loads of money to get the girls drunk, because guys like drunk girls. Girls will sit there, get drunk, have a great time. You say it's your new job now, you haven't go to work ever again. That's how you recruit girls. You do not recruit girls any other way. Webcam thing, and I was like, this might be some money. So I text all my girlfriends, I think it was 5 of them, text all 5, said, you're all coming here to live with me and work with me. So Tristan will tell you the story, he'll tell you. All 5 flew in, picked them all up, they're all sitting there, I sat them around the same table. Listen, I need to get paid, right? I'm broke now. I have no money, I'm running out of money. So I put them all around the same table, and I was like, look, we're gonna start a webcam business, you're gonna stay, you're gonna live in London, I'm gonna look after you, and we're gonna get rich. We're gonna be a team. And they're all like, well, who's this bitch? I'm like, she's my girlfriend, she's my girlfriend, she's my girl. You're all my chicks. And you're going to stay here and we're going to make some money. Big fight kicks off, blah, 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 blah. 3 left, 2 stayed. Those are my first 2 girls. And we started this little webcam business from my apartment. And it just grew and grew and grew. And it got to the point where at one point I had 75 women working for me in 4 locations. Damn. And I was doing $600,000 a month. This is in the UK. So, but this leads into the story of why I moved to Romania. So at the height of my webcam pimping, I think I'm the king of the world, right? I have all these women, da-da-da. But the problem is, my first 2 girls who worked for me because they loved me. I love this man, from the ghetto streets to the hotel suites. So we're working together, but then once you get bigger, you start hiring girls who don't love you. They're in it for the money. And then I had one girl, and she got too drunk one day, and she threw up in my apartment. I told her to clean up. She refused to clean up, started being an idiot. So I took her stuff, threw out the window. You never hit a girl, right? Can't do that. But if all the other girls see me be disrespected, they're going to lose respect for me.
Facts.
Right?
Yep.
So when she's like, I ain't cleaning that up, you get that. So I was like, look, I don't care. And she was my biggest earning girl. She made me on her own maybe $25,000 a month.
Oh, shit.
So I didn't want to fire her. And she knew I didn't want to fire her, which is more reason why I had to fire her ass. So I was like, all right, cool. You want to be a gangster? Right, you're a gangster. Got her shit. We're like high up. We're like high up, like here. It was just out the window. So I throw it out the window. Got her by her 2 arms and marched her out the door, locked the door. End of it. She starts texting me, you owe me my last month's wages, you owe me my money, give me my money. Did I text her back? I ain't paying you nothing, you threw up my blah, 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 blah. She went to the police.
Oh, shit.
And told the police I hit her. 4 months later, 5 in the morning, 4 months later, I'm laying in bed. And I heard the door, boom, 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 boom. And I don't know how I knew. I just knew it was police. As soon as I heard that noise, I just paused for a second. I heard police, but I didn't know what it was for, right? But there's a few things I can't say in the podcast. I've lived a varied life. I've done some things when I had to pay the bills.
Right.
So I was a bit like, what's this going to be? So I flush my phone down the toilet quickly. I'm coming. So I'm trying to hide shit. I'm looking around. What do I have to hide?
Also, when you're a real G, is that you're here, you're there, you're everywhere. You got to go to Poland, you got to go to Warsaw, fucking Dubai, Miami. Anyone who watches State Confidential knows I'm all over the place. So I end up with all these chicks just stuck in their house, sitting there, bored, completely in love with me. And of course, they don't go out. They're not allowed out.
I don't even have to fuck you. Forget the sex part. That's a distraction. My dick can stay in my pants. I'll just start beating the shit out of you. How about that? We walk in the bedroom. I start kicking your ass. No sex. No sex involved. But you cry then.
Here's a little move. When I grab you by your neck and you start annoying me, trying to resist, and I just
passports, man. If I fuck up and England wants me in jail, I can fly on a Nigerian passport, or an American, or an English, or a Polish, or an Estonian. I have so many passports. What, are you gonna block them all? They can't stop me traveling. There's always a passport I can pull out. There's always a driver's license I can pull out. If you ban one, I've got another one.
And also, I like Eastern Europe as a whole because corruption's far more accessible. I find it offensive that a police officer in England will stop me for speeding and then refuse to take a bribe and pretend that no, but I'll tell you why. Because he'll sit there and go, no, this is the law and order, and pretend that the law means something and fuck me over. But if you're a billionaire or if you're Boris Johnson, you can go to Epstein's Island, you can fucking throw parties during COVID, you can do whatever the fuck you want, right? So the whole idea of law and order is a lie. The whole idea of it's bullshit. It's just about if you're high enough, you can throw it all away. I'd rather be in a society where if I'm in Prague and they stop me for speeding and they say, bro, you were speeding. Oh, here's $50. All right, cool. Bye. If corruption exists, which it does, let us all play. Why do only they get to play and I don't get to play?
What is freedom to you, Dave?
Freedom to me, it's like being able to do whatever you want.
Do you think you can do whatever you want in America?
No.
I live in Romania, right? Romania is not a free country, technically. Do you think I could get away with doing more here than I could do in America? If I were to get my shear on and drive at 200 miles an hour down the high street in the middle of the city, do you think I'd get in more trouble here or more trouble in America?
Probably in America, but it does depend who you are. There's plenty of people who have gotten away with things in America. It's like, how the fuck did they get away with that?
Correct. So this is the exact point. Every single system, all of them are corrupt. The judicial system's corrupt. The medical system is corrupt. The financial system's corrupt. It's all corrupt. It's all a matter of who you are. Now, in America, the game is limited to ultra billionaires who control the government, as you said. In other countries, anyone with money and some basic social skills and some nice friends can play the game. If we're going to accept that every single system on the planet is corrupt, why would you live in a place where you cannot access to corruption? Does that make sense logically? Or would you rather live in a system where you can say, you know what? I am important enough within said society that if the police stop me, I can give them $10 and they'll fuck off.
Even though the Romanian politicians, and I have very high friends in Romania, and I have casinos in Romania which I've been trying to reopen. So I've had meetings with high-level Romanian politicians offering them bribes, and they've sat there and said, we know Corona's bullshit, but the EU's giving us relief funds, billions and billions, we have to comply with lockdowns. We're all sitting there with no masks. Everyone knows. Shadow figures are in charge of all this junk.
Kristen, why does everyone think we're mafia? We're not mafia. Like, we don't run around with machine guns. I mean, obviously we have guns. Our house is full of machetes. Are we mafia? Anyway, I don't think I'm mafia. So I said to Tristan, look, we're not mafia. And Tristan goes, yes, we are. And I said, why? He goes, we're two huge fighting brothers with women naked on the internet who own casinos, who drive around Bucharest, Romania in over $2 million worth of fucking supercars. Everyone's afraid of us. And if anyone did piss us off at any point, even if we didn't want to fuck them up ourselves, we can make one phone call and they'd either be in a ditch or lose any right to stay here. They'd have some visa issue and get kicked out the country, or arrested for no reason and put in a jail cell for months at a time. We are basically as mafia as you can get. So I guess I'm mafia. I didn't mean to be. So I was sitting there going, well, I never intended on being an organized criminal. How do you end up being mafia? And I've concluded. Right. Point 7, don't get legal before you get rich. But when I lived in England, I refused to pay tax. It was 40%. So then
I refused to pay tax. It was 40%.
So I did a deal with them to open them on the sly and pay bribes. So I was open for like the first month with bribes, but the bribe kept going up because it's Romania, right? The police chief would come, he wants some, and the police chief would call his mate, who's the fucking, I don't know, fire inspector, some jackass, he'd come. Then the alcohol licensing man would come. It was just like everyone's got on the phone like, hey, this casino's still open. They'll pay you to go away. So before you know it, every 5 minutes, someone's in the door for money. And we weren't making money, so we had to close down. So
real G's need.
Get me out of jail.
Well, the law says
you're guilty. I said get me out of jail.
So before we found our lawyer, we met a bunch of lawyers here in Romania. We're like, look, I mean, speeding was a topic we brought up. interviewed some bimbo in her suit who sat there and started talking about laws to us. Well, if you're banned from driving and you get caught driving, what's going to happen?
I don't go see a lawyer to talk about the law.
And she said, well, then you go to jail. And Andrew looks at her in the face and said, not if I have the right lawyer, I don't. And we left.
Yes, right.
What? You are telling me that I'm going to go to jail?
Then why am I going to hire you?
Failure.
I walked in there and said, listen, I've committed multiple felonies. Am I going to go to jail? Well, probably. Well, then see ya. Bye.
Why would I give you my money?
You're useless. I went into some other man. I was a female. I went to a man's office, said I've committed multiple felonies.
There are things we can do. We could try this. We could try that.
No problem.
I make one call.
You don't go to jail.
There's no problem.
No problem.
We send somebody else to jail.
We send him. He is the new Andrew. He shave his head and he go. I'm like, all right, it's cool. That's the lawyer I want.
That's the lawyer I want.
Nobody wants, when you're talking to your legal clients, don't start talking Mr. Legal Schmiegel. Because you think you sound smart. Well, I went to law school and it says on page...
We don't care about the law.
It says on page 48 of the Geek Bible that on the .214 that if I'm a nerd, and then Scott Adams called me. No one cares.
How can you help me?
How much
fix
does
my
it
problems?
cost to make this all go away?
That's what we want to hear.
Long time ago now, I can be honest and open about my past. I was a fighter, but fighting wasn't paying the bills, sold drugs, whatever. So I'm selling drugs. I didn't really like selling drugs. I didn't like the anxiety. I didn't like the idea of getting caught. I didn't like the violence, the stabbing. I have my stabbing stories already on Twitter. I'll put it when I take speech up. Someone tried to stab me. In the town I was in, Luton, the worst town in the world. I mean, I've got a PhD, a pimp and hose degree. When you see a man like me at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday morning at a gas station in a $400,000 sports car, I get out of the Lambo, there's a bitch in the front. I get out and putting gas in. Do you look at me and go, he studied really hard in school? Or do you look at me and think, drug dealer? You think drug dealer because you understand you must break the rules to make money. Doctors have followed the rules their whole lives and they're driving Citroens. You have to break the rules to make money. You have to understand that the system is designed to keep you poor. I will teach you how to break the rules. Don't be like the doctors and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on an education that will get you a Citroen. You can come to me, spend less than $1,000 on an education, and become rich.
If you refuse to comply permanently, you will be amazed how far you can get as an individual. And I mean this. So let me give you an example. My tax affairs are fully in order in Romania because I pay 3%. But when I lived in England, I refused to pay tax. It was 40%. So they started sending me letters and threatening me. You know what you do? You know what most people would do? Reply to the letter, get a clever accountant. Guess what I did? Ignore the letters. Ignore. Then they start sending people around to my house. Where's Andrew? Oh, he's not here. Ignore. There becomes a point where there's a cost-benefit analysis where they sit down and go, we don't know where this guy is. We don't even know how much money he has. We don't know if he's going to pay. He might have left the country. This is a waste of our time. And they give up because everyone's a coward and fills in the form. I don't fill in forms. No, you want my money? Come get it. Come get it. So let's say I'm driving my car and the police stop me. I'll just pull out a license from some random country. I'm in Romania. I'm driving a Slovakian plated car. I've got an American driver's license. I've got an Estonian passport and I'm speaking English. Like, you think they're gonna take my license or they're just gonna look at me and go, just slow down, bro, bye. If the paperwork's not worth it for them. If you ban my passport, I guarantee I've got another one that'll work. I'm that guy, right? Get clear that 99% of laws only apply to the brokies, and that we live in a system now in the world where most things can be solved with money.
Yeah.
If you can fix a problem with money, either by buying a good lawyer or by paying a fine or by bribing a judge, then you don't have to fear the repercussions of X, right? So what I'm saying is they make a law and the broke people have to abide or they go to jail, but the rich people get to break the law and just buy their way out of it.
Yeah.
So most crimes are socioeconomic crimes. Rich people are allowed to commit the crimes and poor people are not. Look at banks. They commit financial crimes every single day. They make $100 million. They pay a $20 million fine and they bank the profit. This is normal. So anyway, the point I'm making is you're unique, but you're not important. You need to become important. Once you become important and you become rich, then you can ignore laws. Laws don't apply to me. I go out this house. I leave this house, right? I get up. I leave the house. I get out the house. I do whatever I want. Because if the police come and say you're not allowed to do that, I'll say, call my lawyer or give me a fine.
Yeah.
Either way, you ain't gonna do shit.
I'm going to be on the next Emergency Live sitting there with the blicky, with the diamonds, talk about Scott Adams' wife. You cannot stop me.
Had it where I've had girls who say, oh, I know you're with Vivian. I know you've been with her a long time. I don't mind. I'll stay out tonight. You two stay alone. All that shit. But it never lasts long. Because the ones who are really in love with you won't do that. You actually have to downplay your relationship with the girl of 6 years. And I only get away with that because the girl of 6 years plays along. So Vivian's been with me 6 years.
So he's been with Vivian for 6 years, right?
Completely head over heels, love me. She wants kids with me, everything. And we met and we fell, whatever, we're in love. But when a new girl comes, when I bring on new girls, I usually pair them with Vivian. Because Vivian's younger. Melissa's like 28, Vivian's like 21.
Vivian's 21. And at this point, he's been a girlfriend for 6 years. So you do the math. It means that they met when she was 15 years old.
As a whole, because we could talk about pimping, because pimping has a very bad name.
Yeah.
And I genuinely believe that pimping, if it's done correctly, is not a negative thing. And I think that overall, if you're a pimp, you're a positively inspirational and motivating person. And that is your job, right? And I want to say this because everyone
break it down.
I will break it down.
He's gonna
I'm gonna break it down pimping. I'm gonna break it down pimping because people are sitting there saying, well, why does the girl work for you? Why wouldn't she work for herself? And I'll tell you why. Because the girl who works for herself doesn't make any fucking money.
You have the opportunities.
It's not even just a girl can make $3,000 a month for herself or $50,000 a month, 50-50 with you. And the difference between men and women are a few things. But women are, once again, I'm not trying to insult anybody, but women, if they find a way to make money, they make enough to make money to pay the bills, and then they go party. Whereas a man goes, oh, we found a way to make money. Let's never sleep again and make money forever. So we have a different mentality towards money. That's the first thing. Second thing is we can provide emotional support. It's not easy to be a webcam chick and get no tips, right? So if a girl would log in and no one would send her any money, she'd be upset. But she could come to me, the pimp, and I'd be like, baby, oh, that's because there's a big football game. There's some football game on. It's not your fault. Everyone did shit today. No, I'm lying through my teeth.
All the girls killed her.
But she feels better. Now she's happy again. Now she'll try again. She'll go back with the renewed courage and she'll make it, right? If she's by herself, she's like, oh, no one likes me. Fuck this. And she'll quit. You'll see even now with OnlyFans, the biggest OnlyFans girls that exist in the world today are working for agencies run by men. Any girl who's independent makes a couple thousand here and there, blah, blah, blah. They ain't making big money. The girls who are making big money, a man comes along and says, here's your photo sets. Here's what you're doing today. Here's your schedule. Boom, boom, boom. Don't worry, I got 5 people in your account pretending to be you. Got 4 of your sugar daddies are online. Bang, 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 bang. Money. It's a business. I was straight business about it. I was not involved in this business trying to be Dan Bilzerian. It was all money. Of the 75 girls who worked for me, it was money, money, money. I had zero interest in trying to fucking fuck them all or run around, have threesomes, none of that shit. It was pure business. That's why we made so much money. But pimps have a very, very important role in the whole industry. I'm telling you. And overall, all we do is provide motivational support. The idea that you can convince a girl to do something she doesn't want to do and make her do it en masse every day, 4 years by force is bullshit. I can't come along to you and make you do something you don't want to do. No, all I can do is make it comfortable and make you realize it's worthwhile and financially reward you. I had a business that offered girls a job, the same as McDonald's does, the same as an office does. Sit on the computer and make some money. That's all it was. So I'm here to defend the pimps. All right? Because we're not bad. I'm a feminist. I made a bunch of chicks rich. There ain't a man out there who paid a girl more money than me.
No, between me and you, we made 4 girls millionaires before OnlyFans existed.
Damn.
So when OnlyFans was first launched, I don't know who this crazy drunk bitch who's sitting at Andrew's seat now is. But let me tell you, OnlyFans follow 430 people on Instagram. I'm one of them. Because I started when I was still in the industry, I was running a huge OnlyFans, the management company. So they know who I am. They probably don't know who this girl is. You know,
OnlyFans is a British company.
No, indeed. And they know who I am. That's why they follow me. You can check this out right now. You know, call me a liar if you like.
That's the story. And this is another thing. I'll make one more point. A lot of men talk about how bad it is a girl has OnlyFans, et cetera, et cetera. I know some bad bitches, right? Some beautiful women who have an OnlyFans account and her man is running it and they're making money. And they're in the they're in the Maldives.
Yes.
They're pushing Lambos. Like when I see a girl with an OnlyFans account and I know she has a lot of money, I don't think ho. I think she's married.
Happy relationship. Their man is actually taking their pictures.
Yeah, for sure.
And taking their videos.
100%.
And messaging the
100%.
And they've been together for years.
And Andrew, you inspired me.
Known for running a huge cam site, all this cam girls, shit like that, webcam girls. What do you think? Can you tell us a little bit about why men do that and how that actually works, like behind the scenes? Okay. Not behind the scenes, but
yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you all about it. So
quick plug here. Anyone who wants to run a cam site, I have a course on my website that will teach you how to do it. Webcamming is a business that's growing. It's not going anywhere. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger because betas are getting more and more common, and these are the guys they're all Democrats.
And women see it as a good way to make money, right?
Well, for women, it's a fantastic way to make money.
Yeah.
You know, you can sit at home on your computer in your pajamas.
Just sell your sexuality.
Yeah,
there you go.
sell your sexuality.
Yeah.
And the greatest thing about it is in your pajamas, literally.
Yeah, literally.
Like my girls, they put makeup on and all this sexy underwear on for like 6 days a week, and then on the 7th day, they'll have a no makeup chill day and get paid more money.
Yeah.
To do even less.
Wow.
Because the guys
Feet
like,
pictures and shit.
weird shit.
Weird shit.
But it's not even just about sex, because porn is effectively free now. It's about attention. It's about interaction.
Yeah.
And these betas do not get genuine interaction from hot girls.
Engagement is the new cocaine at Lattimore.
Absolutely. That's all it is. It's purely engagement. There's loads of guys paying these girls who don't want sex. Well, they'd love to have sex with the girl, obviously, but they just want to talk about their dog and UB40 and just
the
garbage.
gender.
A lot of these men are married.
Wow.
They've got a wife at home who doesn't fuck them.
Yeah.
They've got kids who don't respect them. And they're literally the only time they smile at all is when they get their laptop out and talk to this hot 19-year-old on the other side of the world.
Jesus.
And it's sad, but it keeps them out of suicide.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
I believe it. Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
So, this is just the whole relationship with the webcam market, and it's growing by the day.
Got to bump them off from the webcam shit to the PhD course, man. Cross promotion.
Absolutely. And this is what the PhD course explains how I got the girls to work for me, and the cam course is the ins and outs of running a cam business.
Yeah,
But a cam business is a fantastic business because it ain't going anywhere. And there's online money, and it's 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Yeah.
Christmas, New Year, the busiest times. There's lonely dudes on Christmas on there just fucking sending money.
No, I think
at my peak, I made $400,000 one month.
Yeah. Wow.
So I made a lot of money through this business, and I was a lot bigger than I am now. I've just got like a few of my top girls left.
Yeah.
But
you're also getting older. Life, so you have different priorities and shit. Doing what you got to do.
Exactly. So I'm going to look to have kids and stuff. So, but it's a fantastic business. It really is. And I say this. I know this pisses off the trad cons, but I'll say to any dude out there, you want to start a cam business? I'll tell you how.
Yeah.
Do it. Do you know what I mean? All you need is one. If you had one girl at home in your bedroom, made an extra $1,000 a week, still money.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, and these dudes are gonna. It's kind of like an alcoholic. I say this all the time. If you own a liquor store, an alcoholic comes in and you refuse to serve him, is it going to stop him drinking? He's going to go buy it from somewhere else.
I say that about Tinder. Women, people criticize me similar to you. I fuck these girls on Tinder and Instagram and shit. Not as many as you, but I try. And they say, I'm enabling that. It's like, I'm not enabling that.
They're going to fuck someone?
Yeah, they're going to fuck somebody. And I'm like, when they bang me, I'm like the 29th dude that year they fucked her. So, whatever. What am I going to, I didn't do anything about the other 28 dudes that fucked her.
Exactly. So, and it's exactly the same with the alcoholic thing. So you're not going to stop someone being an alcoholic. So if these dudes are going to go online and send their money away, which you're going to do, they may as well send it to me. Because who else are you going to send it to someone else? So that's just how I view it. So I don't think I'm damaging the West. The West has problems. We've just discussed them. I'm exploiting them to make myself a millionaire.
Yeah.
Well, oh well.
Yeah, you're not causing this to happen.
I'm not causing it to happen. It's happened already.
Yeah.
And if I stop, it's still going to happen.
Yep.
So
that's right.
it is what it is.
I think one of the best jobs a woman can have is be a cam girl. I have 19-year-old girls making $50,000 a month. No man's touching them. Not a single man touches them. I had a girl who worked for me for.
You know what? I did once feel sorry for a customer, and I tried to warn him not to spend his money. This is a true story. So he was talking with one of my models. He said, "Oh, when I get £20,000, I'm going to call you every night because I know we're in love, and then we can meet up." Obviously, the girls are never going to meet these guys. So I had his phone number. I called him. I said, "Hi, my name is Tristan Tate. I run a webcam studio here in Eastern Europe. The girl you think you're talking to, her name isn't Chloe. She doesn't live in London. Like, it's all a big game." "Okay, thanks." He seemed quite embarrassed and hung up the phone. 6 to 7 weeks later, I had hired a new model from Lithuania. She gets an incoming call, opens up the screen. It's this fucking guy again. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing on the website? So he starts talking to my Lithuanian model saying, "Yeah, I was really into this English girl on this same website, but she was a scammer, and I figured her out." After I called him and told him not to, I just said to my staff, I said, "Take every penny he's got. Take every single cent he's got. I don't care anymore."
As for scamming people, I think the industry as a whole is a scam.
Yeah.
But I was not scamming people any more than anyone else involved in the industry. I personally think the industry is a scam. However, a lot of the men who are involved and send money to girls on webcams don't think it's a scam. They like it and they enjoy it and they think it's totally worth it. So I think it's a scam, but they don't. So it's their prerogative. We fucking killed the game. Millions of dollars a week. And it was not just because I had beautiful girls. It's not because webcam is easy. It's because I am a genius. And I put together an apparatus of genius behind the avatar of beauty. And we fucking conquered the internet.
You say a lot of stuff about women like that they're your property.
That's not what I said. I was talking about an OnlyFans company when that question was asked. But I said that if a woman is going out with a man, she belongs to that man. That's his woman. So if she wants to do OnlyFans, she owes him some money because she's his.
Well, that's crazy. That one's crazy.
So you think that a man going out with a girl, that's just your property?
That one was nuts.
I'm nuts now. Good.
If a guy and a girl is dating and a girl does OnlyFans, she owes him a cut?
She is his girl.
But what does that have to do with anything?
Because she's his.
So that is you saying that women are your property.
It's not about being property. It's about the fact that she belongs to him. And the intimate parts of her body belong to him because they're in a relationship. And if she wants to sell those, he has a stake in those intimate parts of her body.
So it's reverse. Male porn star owes the woman.
I don't know, because I think the women belong to the man. I think the woman is
that's inherently where you get called sexist for.
How do you recruit a cam girl? You find a girl with half a brain who's a waitress, and you say, what the fuck are you doing this for? You get paid 20 times more to come do that. And she'll say, no, I'll feel bad, blah, blah, blah. And you'll say, look, you have a fake name, fake address. No one's going to know your real name. What's the problem? A bunch of dudes will tell them they're beautiful and send them loads of money. And then they'll sit there and go, what the fuck was I working a job for? This is amazing. And you say, yeah, I know. And bang, done. I said to Tristan, I'm going to find a way to make money. So I decided to lock myself in my room. I saw something on the internet about a mathematician. I can't remember his name. He's a famous one. He's a mathematician or a scientist. He used to lock himself in his room and refuse to leave until he solved the problem. And he got all these health issues because he wouldn't eat and all this crap. So I thought, I'm going to be like this guy. I'm going to lock myself in the room so I work out how to make money. I only wanted to make like $20 a day. I said, I'm going to find a way to make $20 a day so that we're not hungry. That was it. Jesus. I want $20 a day. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking at all this shit and I'm researching, blah, blah, blah. And I started writing down my assets. Like, what do I have? I was like, okay, well, I have physical strength, but I already utilize that fighting. I have this, I have that, blah, blah, blah. And I got down to the road and I wrote down, well, I have a whole bunch of big booty bitches. Well, what can I do?
Big booty bitches. All right, I like it.
But I was like, what can I do with these girls? I mean, even opening a strip club, you need investment money. I didn't have investment money. I didn't want no one else fucking my girls. I'm not going to put them on the track. So I'm like, so what is there?
And even with fighting, a lot of people think you became a millionaire by fighting, but it doesn't really work like that, right?
Nah. Fighting is like modeling, whereas there's 0.1% that have all the money, the ones you can name, and then there's all the other ones who are just as good, who look just as good, can fight just as good, but for whatever reason just didn't get that contract. Like I was 4-time world champion. And the most I ever got paid was $75,000, which is a lot of money, but it ain't life. I mean, what, twice a year? It's 150 grand a year. You're not a rich guy. You got a car, you got rent. Like you're not rich. So and that's world champion 4 times. So and this kickboxing. I mean, boxing you can make a lot of money if you have a good promoter, but even then, there's a whole bunch of boxers out there who are fighting every weekend who are excellent, you've never heard of and don't make shit. So it's a hard sport to make money, man. It's a terrible career path. But yeah, so I had all these girls, and then I was kind of looking up, Googling, like, how to open a strip club, blah, 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 and I accidentally found webcam, and I thought, oh, this is interesting, okay, and it kind of one thing grew to another, and I moved back to England, started a webcam company, and it just exploded. I ended up with 75 girls working for me, and became a multimillionaire, so that's how it went.
I have to f*** her so she obeys me. I don't give a shit about having beautiful women. I f*** them so they listen to me, so I can get what I actually want, which is not them. It's a means to an end. Every single Bond girl was exploited. That's exactly what I do. When I watch a Bond film and I see him basically pimp a bitch, to me that speaks to my heart. I've been there. I've done that. Anyone who's followed me long enough knows that I first made my $1 million with a webcam business. I have met beautiful women with a good personality and thought, she will make me money. I have to this bitch. I don't want to, I just need the money.
If you didn't.
And the relationship is far more artificial than you would even believe, because a lot of the conversation that's happening, a girl will typically, in my setup, a girl will sell her phone number to an individual. So he'll pay up to $300-400 to have the girl's WhatsApp number. Now, the entire time he's messaging that girl, it's not that girl. It's another member of staff I have who has a pile of 5 or 6 phones, and her job is to just reply as these false personalities, as these false names, looking at getting the money. So it's so fake, more fake than people could possibly believe, because they're not even talking to the girl they think they're talking to. A lot of the time, there's somebody else behind the scenes, especially when the model's English isn't that strong, doing the typing on behalf of the model. The model's just bashing a keyboard, which isn't plugged into anything. So it's far more artificial than you could possibly believe.
April Baker.
That was her name.
That was her name. And I was like, you're hot. So I messaged her. She's like, I'm only 16. I was like, give a fuck. Know about me. I'm 21. I don't care. So I pick up April Baker in my Mazda RX-8. Because he's been all weird now, like a fucking Fortnite work.
Pussy.
Weirded out. It's fine. You know, like, if you ever, once you're 18, If you want to get yourself a real man, I know a guy.
You do.
I do, yeah. I do know a guy.
Who is it?
What? It's a long story. I can't tell you exactly who because there's bad things about him.
Yo, there's no fucking way you just said that. No. I actually overheard that. The fact that you fucking said that shit is fucking crazy. That's fucked up. Whoa.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom. Now they're here. It's the Thrivetime show starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zillner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Mr. Clyde started from the bottom, and now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks. I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1. Here we go!
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
Hey, Dr. Zellner, my name is Tia the Pill. I'm here with Top50.com. Oh, yeah. You're America's #1 recovering optometrist. Oh, yeah. And you're an entrepreneur and a successful one, because I've seen your card. Oh, yes, you are. Woo-hoo! And you're also a horse breeder and an auto auctioneer. Is there anything Dr. Zellner can't do? I don't know, but Dr. Zellner, oh, it's your time to thrive. Yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Dr. Z, thank you for letting us be here today.
You bet, Clay.
I appreciate it. Hey, I want to know, this is one of the most massive chairs I've ever seen. At what point did you decide that you wanted to get chairs this massive?
Well, when you had a room this big, you had to get massive furniture so it didn't look like a little, like you had little dollhouse furniture in the room, you know. So it was kind of a challenge to find, big enough furniture for this room. So.
I'm a huge fan of this chair, and so.
Well, you look good in it.
I appreciate it. I think it's the lighting, really. A lot of Photoshop's being done to this. What we're here to talk about is the early years.
Okay.
You obviously today, I think you own 5 companies?
Yes, I do.
And then you kind of are in partner
and parts of other companies, yes.
So you're about 10 businesses you're involved in.
Sure.
200 employees work with you.
Yes.
You've married 30 years this year.
Yes.
You have 3 kids.
Yeah, I sure do.
And so all these things are going great, but you started somewhere.
Yes, I did.
And so we're going to go back there because I think a lot of people watching this are there right now. So where did you grow up?
In Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Over on the east side, 36th and Garnett. Yeah. And, grew up a big family with not a lot of means and started...
What did your parents do?
My father was a funeral director and my mother was a stay-home mom with 7 children, 6 boys and 1 girl. She.
1 girl?
Uh-huh.
Really?
Yeah, my little sister.
Well, that's why she's such a driver. She had to put up with all you.
Absolutely, yeah. She's tough. Yeah, but she was so spoiled. We didn't have any money, but she was the only one with her own bedroom. I mean, it was just not fair.
So despite the adversity that you didn't have really your own bedroom as a kid. What kind of adversity did you guys deal with as kids? I mean, everybody grows up with something that's a challenge. What were some of your challenges growing up there?
Well, I mean, our challenges were, when you have a big family, just the dynamics of that and learning to get along. I mean, even though they're siblings, everybody has a different personality. Everybody has different buttons that you learn not to push. I mean, I think that, growing up in a big family, you really kind of learn how to get along with a lot of different kinds of people,
Were you the oldest?
No, I was the second oldest.
Second oldest? So was there a turning point in your life where your older brother or maybe you said, hey, we could do something here? We could start businesses.
One weekend, my mom had given us some money. We were watching the kids. We were kind of built-in babysitters. I felt like I raised, a couple of my youngest brothers. But one of my brothers was still in diapers, and she gave us a little bit of money. And she said, I think that's his last diaper, so you need to go and buy diapers this weekend. So we potty trained him that weekend so we could take the money and go buy a fishing pole with it. So
you took the baby, you took the money.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we potty trained him. We said,
right there.
You're old enough. Yeah, we just intensive potty training the whole weekend, and then we took that money that was going to be spent on diapers and went and bought a fishing pole. So
was that sort of your first glimmer of entrepreneurship?
Money is easy to make. We just got to find a bunch of kids that need to be potty trained, right then.
The weekend intensives, door to door.
Exactly. Give us your diaper money, bring us your kid and your diaper money, and we will send you back a kid potty trained.
So did you are an optometrist by trade.
By education.
When did you decide to become an optometrist? Did you have that epiphany?
Yeah, growing up, there's a lot of things that interested me. There was a lot of things I thought I'd like to do. But then the more I thought about it, I thought, I wanted to have a career that would give me a better chance of success. And so I thought, well, gosh, doctors, I don't know a poor doctor. I'm sitting there thinking, I'll be a doctor. And I thought, well, what kind of doctor? I thought, well, I really like business. I really like selling things. So I thought, hey, optometrist. They, half their day is kind of doctoring, the other half is kind of selling. And I thought, that's a good fit for me.
Let's break it down for a second, though. You're saying you decided that you wanted to be a doctor because it gave you a good chance of being successful.
Correct.
And you chose optometry because you could sell things?
Yes, because it was a nice mixture of business and doctoring. Plus, when the patients came in, they weren't, they weren't really sick. And helping people see is a very rewarding thing. You've got on glasses, and so when you slip on those glasses for the first time, and I remember that aha moment when I was a boy because I had to wear glasses. So part of my knowledge of eye doctors was from firsthand experience. And so I remember the first time I put them on, I went, wow, there's really leaves on trees, And so just that moment in doing that with young kids and even adults and seeing them light up and they go, thank you so much, it's very rewarding.
A lot of people watching this, though, are choosing a career and they're sort of dying on a poverty hill because of a career choice.
Yeah.
So as an example, I remember meeting with a young man and he said, I really have these big goals. And Dominic wouldn't mind me sharing his story, but he's like, I have these big goals. And he tells me the goals. And then I'm like, well, how are you going to pay for it with your current occupation? And he's like, well, it's not possible, really. And it just right there, like the dream died because he chose an occupation that didn't afford him the ability to do those goals.
Yeah.
And I've worked with him over the last year and a half or so, and today he has a business that's allowing him to pay for these goals and will achieve these goals. Would you recommend for anybody watching this who's maybe in college or anybody who's out of college that it's important that you choose a vocation that has the ability to earn you enough compensation to do what you want to do?
Absolutely. I see people spending a lot of money on a college education, and I say, what do you fill in the blank, what are you getting? And they tell me, and I go, how in the world are you going to even make enough to pay back the loan that you took out to go do that? I mean, you have to do some research on what it is you can do with that degree and how much money is reasonable to be made. And of course, I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, I mean, the sky's the limit. I mean, you could have any degree and be doing anything and focus those into building a business. So my undergraduate degree is in mathematics. And you might say mathematics, but the thing about it is I don't think it's so much important about what people have done as more important is what they're going to do and do with it. I mean, a college degree of any kind shows that you have the wherewithal to stick to a program, to jump through the hoops you need to jump through. And there's a certain amount of that DNA now that's in you that says, hey, I can do this. And so, it's a victory in your life. check it off. It doesn't necessarily define you for the rest of your life. Just because you got a degree in this or degree in that doesn't mean that you're pigeonholed now into not doing anything else.
Do you feel like that you encountered a mentor at some point that pointed out, because you're looking, I mean, the way you explain it to me, you seem like it's pretty factual. You're like, well, I'm looking for a career that pays a decent amount of money, and then it gives me increases my chances of success, and I can sell things, optometry, okay. And to me, it seems logical. Like that makes sense to me. I know my path. I was sitting there in class one day, and I'm doing the numbers in broadcast journalism class, and I'm going, you know, if I graduate and I spend this much on my degree, I'm only going to make this much. If I only do like 5 weddings a weekend as a wedding entertainer as a company, I could make more than that. I'm going to quit doing this to do that. To me, it was a mathematical, it was a decision thing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, though, were getting caught up in these emotional reasons for choosing an occupation or something. But was there a mentor that encouraged you to think this way, or did you just do it yourself?
You know, I think I just kind of did it myself. I'm trying to think back on, I mean, the thing about it is that, you know, I learned, when you encounter people along the road of life, I always try to learn something, get a little nugget, get a little pearl from any place I could find it. And you know, my first job, I learned a lot. My first boss, named Dick Slater, you know, there was a lot of things I learned from him. And it was funny, one day we were back and we had a jukebox, it was the sound system. And I went back and it was a Mexican restaurant and there was all kinds of music on there. But I would play a lot of the Mexican songs, fast-moving Mexican songs. And Dick Slater came back there one day, and I'm back there at the dishwasher. He goes, "Hey, who played all the music?" And I said, "I'm kind of been taking over the jukebox and kind of, you know, making sure it's always running and going and everything." He goes, "I like it. You're playing a lot of the Mexican music. Why?" And I go, "I just figured it's a Mexican restaurant, put people in the mood to eat maybe more Mexican food, you know." And he looked at me and he goes, "I like that, you know." But the thing about it is that, you know, like with Dick, you know, I learned a few things from him. You also learn things not to do from people and from jobs you have. But I think that, you know, there's a reason why that, you know, we have 2 eyes and 2 ears and just 1 mouth. And if you go along and you purposefully try to pick out a little, you know, see something, you go, "No, why'd that motivate me? Why is that good? How can I incorporate that?" It's kind of like when I watch commercials. I would watch a commercial and say, what was good about it? What was bad about it? Did it motivate me to buy? Why? And really think about it like that.
It's interesting to me because you're a high energy guy. A lot of people know you as being excitable, but you're also very observant.
Well, I think that's the thing that some people miss out on, is that there's a whole world around them with things to learn and things to better your situation by. And so take that opportunity.
Now, let me ask you this. How old were you when you met your I'm not trying to get you in trouble if you mix up the dates here, but how old were you when you met your life coach / wife of 30 years? How old were you in college?
19. I was 19.
Really?
Yeah,
So how old were you guys when you got married?
I was 19.
Really?
No, I'm sorry. I just turned 20. I was 2 weeks after my 20th birthday.
Hey, we're the 2020 Club. I got married when I was 20 as
there
well.
There you go. All
awesome.
Right.
That's great.
2020 vision. 2020. Boom. It's a wrap. There we go. Perfect. Wrap it all up.
Awesome. Just
drive it on.
The circle is complete.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so you guys got married young.
Yes.
So you've built this business together.
Correct.
You've built this house together. You've built this. I mean, this is something you've done together.
Correct.
And has she always been supportive of your career?
Oh, I think so. Yes.
So had you guys sit down together as a couple? Because I think a lot of people watching this have a spouse, a husband, wife that are trying to. Do you sit down together and you say, "Hey, you know, I think we're going to open up an optometry clinic here"?
Yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, you have if you're married, you definitely have a partner in the situation, and what you're doing definitely affects their life. You know, my wife always tells people that she went to the fair. She knew she was getting a ride. She thought it was a Ferris wheel. It turned out to be the extreme roller coaster. You know, with me. But the thing about it is that, you know, I have learned to bounce things off of her. She's a very good sounding board for me. Before I'm going to try something, I can bounce it off of her, and it's a nice flow. She's an educated woman. She has her MBA, almost became a CPA, and then we started having kids, and so she kind of took over the role of mom. But I've always really enjoyed the fact when she comes into the business and helps in some capacity. I like for her to know what's going on. And early on, she actually kind of did my books.
Yeah.
And then, you know, she got so busy with the kids that we had to hire a full-time person to do that. But
I think a lot of people, though, that I've met who are successful entrepreneurs, you don't have to have a great spouse to start a business, but it certainly helps.
It doesn't hurt, and you definitely have to have their support, and you definitely have to be rowing in the same direction in the boat. It just breaks my heart to think about when I know a friend or know somebody or someone that comes to me for advice, and their spouse is not only not being a comfort and a help, they're actually being a deterrent, and it just breaks my heart.
Napoleon Hill wrote about the #1 causes for failure, why people fail, and one of the things he mentioned was choosing the wrong spouse. And I know that seems harsh, but for those of you watching this who are not yet married, I think it's important that you choose a spouse just like you choose an occupation. But the point is you're choosing, you're intentionally living,
Right.
you're making,
Right.
and if you are married to a spouse that's maybe less than supportive, I know certainly in my life I've been sort of a man-bear pig at times, and have frustrated my wife to the point of, I really have pushed all of her buttons simultaneously, like I'm just hitting all the
Sure.
buttons. And I think sometimes if we ask ourselves if our spouses aren't being supportive, sometimes it's something that we're doing too. So I think there's hope. You just got to make sure that we're rowing in the same direction, I guess.
Absolutely, and if you are having those conflicts, I would encourage people to work them out, to sit down and talk about them, to express yourself. And I think sometimes men, we bottle things up and we think, well, they should just, come heck or high water, they should have our back and do this. And there's some part of that that's true, but there's also a part that, maybe you're not doing some things you need to do. I like that man-bear pig.
I am a man-bear pig. That's what I am.
Yeah, I like that.
That's what I.
It's like a man cave and then the beer.
I'm working on my own new cologne.
Yeah.
Man-bear pig cologne. I'll just send you a bottle for the holidays.
I would appreciate it. I look forward to that.
So now, in terms of your career, you guys are getting married. You're happily in love. You're going to college. She's going to college. You're going to college. You graduate. Now you say, we're going to start a business. And where do you go to get capital? I mean, and there's a ton of people watching this. According to the Kauffman Foundation, that's one of these it's one of these research institutes that researches entrepreneurs. And online, they publish a lot of their studies.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the top reasons that entrepreneurs don't start businesses or feel stuck is they feel like they can't get the capital they need. They feel like they don't know how to get the money.
Yeah.
And what I found in my research and 15 years of working with entrepreneurs is I find they get money from 3 places. One, Walt Disney, Henry Ford, these people, they get money from family and friends. Conrad Hilton, who started the Hilton chain, they get it from family and friends. The second is they get a partner. And then the third, bank loan. Those are kind of the top 3. How did you get your capital, my friend?
It was a 3-letter word called a J-O-B.
A job.
A job.
What?
I worked
This is
for some.
weird.
I know.
This will never
Great.
catch on.
Woo. I worked for. Matter of fact, I had a deal to buy a practice right out of school. I thought that was slick, And I thought, boy, with my creativity, with my swag, with my man-bear pig cologne that's coming in for Christmas, who would not give me the money?
Right.
So I had the deal. I went to bank after bank after bank, and they looked at me and they said, where's your collateral? What's going to happen?
Collateral meaning stuff that you use to guarantee the loan. So if you're watching this, you don't know what that means. If you're going to borrow $100,000, it means you have something that's worth $100,000 that they can take should you not pay them back.
Bingo.
Okay.
And I realized rather quickly that I had nothing, and no one was going to give me any money. So I quickly decided that I needed to get a JOB. And then I did something that's utterly crazy.
Okay.
Mind-blowing and life-changing. I lived below my means, and I delayed gratification. I know. And I saved money. I know.
Is that?
Take it.
Do you want to edit that out?
Take it slowly.
I feel like it's
slowly.
inappropriate what you're saying.
I know.
So wait,
I feel,
you did not
wait dirty right now myself.
So you didn't necessarily go out and get like the awesome cable package. Did you and your wife share a car?
Yes. My first car I paid cash for because I had been working at my Mexican restaurant, the 1974 Pinto Runabout.
Wait. So you shared a car.
Yeah.
I want to underscore this because you and I know a lot of successful entrepreneurs. I know people. I was one of those people. I drove a 1984 Chevy Brown van without a door. because one of our employees
That's
ripped
high
the door off.
That's high living in my book right there.
Yeah. So, I mean, but you live below your means. What are some of the sacrifices that you made on a daily basis that you and your wife did that were just sort of like below your means things?
Well, you didn't eat out. You didn't have a lot of the luxuries. You didn't have the like you said, the cables. You lived in we lived in an apartment that we didn't go out and try to buy a house. We didn't go out and spend a lot of money on clothes. We didn't go out and spend a lot of money on things that we could have, but we didn't do it. So we lived below I delayed gratification, lived below my means, and saved some money.
I want to underscore that, underline it, put it on the screen with highlights. Live below your means. This is huge.
If you're not saving money, if you're going paycheck to paycheck, that's not good. Because what happens is when you start a business, you have to have a war chest. You have to have money. And no one's going to give it to you. Now, yes, if you got a rich uncle, salute, get it from him. Yes, if you want to bring in partners, which are headaches, and get money from them, go for it. Or if you can somehow or another get some banker to sign off on it without any collateral, without the necessary stuff. I mean, it just doesn't happen.
But the reality is, for most people watching this, we're going to be more in the situation that you were in, or the situation that I was in. I remember I worked construction, and I saved up the money that way. So a lot of people, we have to get a job and then live below our means.
That's the key. And if you delay that gratification, and if you just, we kind of live like we still live back in college. I mean, in college, there was a lot of, ramen noodles, ramen noodles.
Yeah.
I've purged it out of my mind after all these years. And peanut butter, I love peanut butter. And, you do with what you have, and you save that money. And then at some point you go, okay, now I've got a little war chest. Now I can get things going.
Now, so you went out, you lived below your means, you took some cash, and you just leased a space and started doing some optometry right there?
Absolutely. Well, I worked for some folks for a year.
A year? As like a doctor, but a junior?
Yeah, I was just an employee, and I went and worked for them, and saved up our money. And then I found an optical company that had a space for lease next to them, and they weren't so much a partner, but there was kind of a symbiotic relationship at the time.
When you say optical company, what does that mean?
Well, they just sold glasses.
Oh, okay.
But it's kind of like a pharmacy. They can't sell any drugs unless a doctor wrote a prescription. So they're smart if they surround themselves with doctors.
Yeah.
So this optical company leased me the space next to them, and I was off and running. They opened up the shingle, got my phone numbers, took care of all my business stuff, and opened up the door for business.
Now, in your career, you've gone on now from, the optometry business. Once you grew it, and we're flash forwarding through a whole span of years. But when was the time that you opened up your second business? When did you go from business one to business, or I guess location two? When did you go from location? You used to have one location. When did you go from location one to having two locations? How many years did it take you?
Well, with this optical company, we did so well. They said, "Hey, we want to open up another optical store. Would you, come and be the doctor next to it? Also, hire some more doctors, just kind of run it." I said, "Sure." And so that happened 3 years later. And then things were going so well, I was actually hired to be the president of that company. Moved down to Dallas for 1 year and was fired. 364 days later.
You got fired?
I got fired. The only time I've been fired in my life.
Really? What
were you
fired
for? The quick story, the best analogy is it's like marrying a woman that has children, and you and her get along real well, but every time she leaves the room, the kids look at you and say, "We hate you. We don't want you here." And so the whole culture of the people down there didn't want me there, and it was very uncomfortable. And finally, something had to give, and he came in one day and said, "It's just not working out. See you later." And so I came back to Tulsa, and then I actually started competing against them and sold my first pair of glasses in 1997.
And so in 97, you started your own practice again, I guess.
I reinvented myself again, you're right.
After being fired?
After being fired.
And how long out of school were you when you got fired? It was like 10 years out of college when you got fired, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you, I guess what I'm saying is, for anybody watching this.
It was actually 7 years.
7 years.
It was like 90s when I graduated. So, yeah.
So if anybody's watching this though, and you've been fired, just real quick story here for you. Henry Ford lost it all 5 times that we know about. Walt Disney lost it all twice. Elon Musk almost spent his entire fortune shooting up rockets into space that didn't work. He shot 3 rockets that didn't work. Go on and on the stories of famous entrepreneurs that had failed pretty epically at one point or another. And so we're in good company if we have a right. So then you start. Then from the time that you reinvented yourself with that optometry clinic, how long was it until you were able to really get traction with this new business? Did you call it Dr. Z's from that very point?
It was Dr. Robert Zeller and Associates, and I had kept the name because just because I wasn't selling glasses before. Then I started selling glasses January 1 of '97. We just exploded. It was a lot of fun. You know, we sometimes we'd be like right next to the company that fired me, and it was free enterprise capitalism. It was on, you know, and it was fun days. I mean, we came to work and it was a cat fight every single day. I mean, they were right next door to us, and it was hustle up, and it was a lot of fun, you know. And I some of the early things that I learned, you know, in business is I was very big into marketing, and I felt like that you know that marketing and advertising is the gas pedal of a business, and the more you do that, that's like the more gas you're putting into your engine, and the faster and the farther you're going to go. And so, you know, I always was committed to taking a percentage of my gross and putting it into advertising.
What percentage did you put in advertising?
Day one, it was 10%.
So 10%. If a dollar
crazy.
comes in, you took 10% and you threw it right back into ads.
Absolutely, which was crazy. But here again, when I first opened up, I was doing more delaying gratification because I wasn't there yet. And so I was very aggressive. At first, I could just afford a little bitty ad in the newspaper, you know.
That.
Little bitty ad.
You started in '97 though.
Selling glasses. I started '91. Next to them, next to the optical. Started building my name and reputation and branding in '91.
Wow. Now that's huge. So you built this business, and as you're growing the company, I feel like, you know, we can always look back at our career and say, in hindsight, you know, I wish I would have done this better or that better, but not so much in a regretful way. But for the entrepreneur who's watching this, who could say, well, what are some things I can get out of this that I can specifically apply? It sounds like, one, if you get fired, don't get too worked up about it.
Right.
Two, you want to live below your means.
Yes.
Set some money aside for advertising.
Absolutely.
The set percentage. Is there anything else you look back on with a little, not regret, but a little bit where you go, gosh, if you're telling that entrepreneur right now, I mean, if I could do it all over again, I would not have done this?
I'm trying to think. You know, when you have success, it's hard to look back and say, you know, I wish that hadn't happened, because, you know, sometimes it's some of the failures along the way that make you change your policy, that make you adjust things, that make you adjust on the fly, that helps your business ultimately, you know, move forward. If I had been a good president of that optical company, I would have never been fired, and I would have never had, you know, I would have not at the timing did what I did, you know.
Yeah.
If I had you know, you look back on it, and I think some of the things that I would probably change, you know, now that I know what I know, is, of course, some of the people that were not good employees, that either stole from me or were bad employees or damaged my business. I mean, if I could go back and not hire them, of course, that's an obvious one. You know, but I think that when you look back on it, you know, I think maybe being bolder and moving quicker in some of the business things. You know, some of like buying new buildings and owning your building. I think that's something I probably would have done quicker. You know, you spend a lot of money in rent, and when you look at that and you really break it down, you go, gosh, I could be owning a building. You know, the first 10 years I'm paying rent, I go, I just paid for a building. So I think moving quicker in that, probably moving quicker into owning your property or owning the building, for example, would probably be one thing that I would have done differently.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. If I'm an entrepreneur watching this, is there a book that you would recommend that I read? Was there a book that really turned it on for you? Are you a reader where you read a book and you go, this book showed me the light?
You know, there's probably several classic books. You know, I think you know, Winning by Jack Welch is a great book.
You like that book?
Yeah.
I love that you like that book.
How can you not like that book?
I love that you like that book.
Old school, just get down and get her done.
I love that book. It makes me feel so great. Dude.
Yeah, I mean the art of war. I mean, I think that too many times in business we don't see that it's war. You know, we don't really see that it's about winning. And I think that those kind of motivational books of getting your mindset right I mean, it's...
So you recommend every entrepreneur watching this should read Winning by Jack Welch and The Art of War? Yes. I think it's by Sun Tzu.
It's amazing how many of the principles after 5,000 years, I mean, it's crazy. I could probably Google it real quick and tell you exact year that it was done, but it's like 1300
Well, I heard
BC
you say little things like keep your enemies closer, and so I can pick up on that a little bit. Now, looking at your career now, though, you once you got the optometry clinics going and you were selling glasses and things are really taking off, when did you diversify into a second business?
Let's see, it was, I believe, about 2000. I'm not prepared to answer that to the thing.
Sometime in 2000,
yeah, probably sometime
early 2000s.
Yeah.
What was that next business?
It was a sleep center, a diagnostic sleep center.
And then you went from that, and what was the next one?
An auto auction.
An auto auction?
I think the auto auction was technically before the sleep center. Yes, it was.
And I guess what I want to point out, though, is you had really a path from your college, when you and your wife, graduated there, to starting the first business. It was really 7 years until you found your stride and started your own thing.
Bingo.
And then from that point forward, it took 4 or 5 more years before you got the optometry clinic really going, and then we started buying other things, and now you have a big momentum to it.
Right. And what happened was I said to myself, I've spent a lot of money in building a brand and building relationships in this community. So instead of going out and doing optical stores across the nation in communities that I don't have any of that goodwill, I'd rather do other businesses within this community. And so, I would get that show Shark Tank. I love it because that's my life. It's like almost every day people find out that you have that entrepreneurial DNA in you. And so they're coming to you always pitching these ideas. Hey, they either want you to fund it, they want you to be a partner in it, or they want you to just advise them, or just tell them what you think about it.
That's why I'm so passionate about you being on the Thrive team, because there's so many entrepreneurs out there that are watching right now that have always wanted to start a business, and they just don't know where to go to get this sort of advice.
Mm-hmm.
And you're kind of like that Yoda of Tulsa. Where people are, where we're going to Dagobah, and we want to come meet with Yoda to hear how you do. And a lot of people can't come here because
come
you have
come here, yeah.
But you have 3 kids and a great wife, and so you have to somewhat choose, who you can spend time with and how much time you can spend with them and all that. So I guess, and finally, when we look back at your life and your early career and kind of how you got from where you were to where you are to be. If you're talking to someone right now who's kind of in that phase of their life, let's say they're 30 though, and they've never really found their stride yet, what would be the advice you would give somebody who's 30, maybe they're out of college or they didn't go, but they're really struggling to find their stride, and they want to start a business, they believe they can, but they just don't know where to start. What kind of advice would you give them?
Get a job, save some money, delay your gratification, live below your means, continue to work on your idea. Don't fret about that you're not doing it. You'll do it when the timing is right, trust me. But build a war chest, do your homework, and then start the business. You'll start it small because you won't have a lot, and you'll let it grow naturally. When I started, I had 1 employee, now I have over 200. It wouldn't have been very unhealthy for me to think, gosh, if I don't have 200 employees day one, I'm a failure. Yeah. So that's the thing about it, is that people understand that there's different steps. Cash is king. You've got to get some of that, because I promise you this, you can go knocking on every door out there and asking for people to give it because you've got this great idea that can't miss. And for the most part, they're going to look at you and say, no, thank you. So it's up to you to get the money. And the way you get the money is your work. Get out there and hustle. Get out there and get a job. Live below your means. Save some money. And then guess what? Then you can be in the driver's seat to kickstart that business.
Dr. Z, I appreciate your time, and I want to know, final question, would you prefer to be called Robert or Dr. Z?
I'll answer to both of them. And depends on when you met me in my life. Right now, probably more people call me Dr. Z now than
What do you
Robert.
Prefer?
I like it all. I introduce myself as Robert. But then I go, oh, Robert, and they go, you sound like that guy, Dr. Z. And I go,
I'm going to go with Dr. Z. I'm going to just stick with that. I appreciate you, Dr. Z.
All right, Clay.
Thanks a lot.
You bet, buddy.
Money makes people unhappy. Money, it has nothing to do with money. Money makes you more of what you are. It just magnifies. If you're mean, you have more to be mean with. If you're kind, you have more to give,
Hi, I'm Stevie Fernandez.
And I'm Trish Whitmer. Thanks so much for stopping in for another Explore Tulsa.
Now, Trish, did you know that Leonardo da Vinci is often given credit for coming up for the first idea, the contact lens?
Yes, in 1508, The Codex of the Eye, Manual D, is where he wrote about his discovery.
Right. Leonardo believed that you could alter your corneal power by either submerging your head in a bowl of water or by wearing a water-filled glass hemisphere over the eye. Talk about your watery eyes.
I think we're all just lucky we can pay a visit to Dr. Robert Zollner and Associates.
The thing that drew me to optometry as a young boy, I needed glasses. And so the first time I went in, I think I was 10 years old, and I got a pair of glasses and I put them on, and there was a whole new world out there. You know, I could see that those things on trees were actually leaves, and I could read signs, and all the way home I was yelling out signs to my mom and saying, wow, look over there, you know. So that was an excitement, a wonderment. I tell people nowadays that I'm kind of an entrepreneur trapped in an optometrist's body. So that was always the driving force of having my own business, and the challenges that came with that were exciting and something I was looking forward to. So when I really got to the threshold of being able to do that, I jumped right in and did it. When I first opened, I was slow. I had one employee, and you know, we would kind of sit around and hey, you know. And of course I started advertising right off the bat. I mean, I think that's important for any business. You've got to get the word out. I started small, of course. My budget was very small back then on the advertising part of it. But I made a commitment to having to be a percentage of my gross revenue. And as my business grew, then my advertising grew, you know. I remember I used to take a picture of me and my staff and put them in the phone book. So I called up one day and I told my wife, I said, come on down and come get in the picture. She said, well, I don't really work there. I said, I don't care, it looks like I've got more employees, so come on down and get the picture. So I think I had like four ladies in the picture. She was one of them, you know, to make it look like I had a bigger staff, you know, that we were busier than we were. So good memories from back then. Oh, I've been trapped in this personality from day one, so. I mean, I think that, you know, you are who you are, and if you try to be somebody else, I mean, people see right through that. So, you know, one of my strengths in business is kind of the marketing and you know, what I bring to that. You know, I have some weaknesses, and I've hired good people to fill those gaps, you know, in my business model. But yeah, what you see is what you get. You know, what you hear on the radio is pretty much me. You know, hey, let's be efficient, let's have a great time, but hey, let's have a little fun along the way too. That doesn't hurt, does it? You know, growing up in a large family and without a lot of money, I knew the importance of value from a very early age. And so whenever I started in practice, that was going to be kind of my flag, if you will, because I was going to bring value. I mean, I remember going to the optical shop as a little boy and having one choice of glasses. It was the only thing we could afford, you know, and that was okay. You know, I could see through them, and they were great glasses, and I enjoyed them, and they changed my life. But I, you know, that's one thing that's always been at the forefront of my marketing, is trying to bring value to eye care. You know, I don't know a lot, but I do know a few things, and that is that people want to come in and they want to get the latest fashion in eyeglasses and sunglasses. They want to get the latest technology in contact lenses and contact lens solutions. They want to come into a wonderful facility. They want to have, they don't want to spend all day doing it. They want to, you know, have efficiencies with their time, because as we all know, we're all busy. They want to get the best eye exam they've ever had, because quite frankly, they want to see through their contacts and glasses clearly. And they want to do this and save money. And that's the formula that I brought in, but with the leading edge always being value. Well, I mean, I love Tulsa. Tulsa's my home, and Tulsans are great people. I thoroughly enjoyed growing up here in Tulsa. And you know, the nice thing about having all those business modalities kind of under one umbrella, if you will, or in one city, is that they're right here and they're handy for me. I don't have to do a lot of traveling. You know, my kids, I just became an empty nester last year, but that was one of the things that kind of was a driving force to build other businesses within Tulsa, is that I got to kind of leverage the marketing arm that I've built in town, quite frankly, and then also I didn't have to travel a lot when my kids were young. I could, you know, that's very important to me to spend time with them. So. I remember when I was just getting out of high school, we had the big oil bust. And it was really bad economic times in Oklahoma, in particular Tulsa. You know, we used to be the oil capital of the world, and then we lost that to another city, and the oil industry just went down. And so, you know, that's kind of the backbone, and it has been the backbone of Tulsa and the surrounding area. And with it doing well, you can see Tulsa just ramping up. So that's exciting, it's encouraging. You know, you hear about big announcements and some of the things that local government has done and the vision that they've cast. And you see big things like that, it just makes you proud. It makes you happy to be, you know, a Tulsan and be part of this community and to add whatever I can add to that.
Money makes people unhappy. You know, money, it has nothing to do with money. Money makes you more of what you are. It just magnifies. If you're mean, you have more to be mean with. If you're kind, you have more to give, you know? Whoa.